Hey everyone, I'm Mecca here from my self-publishing blueprint.com, and I am sitting down with the one and only Karla Marie again from Karla Marie Publishing, and so excited to dive in and talk all about publishing. We got some great stuff coming up right now. So hey Karla, welcome to the channel. Great to see you again.
Hey Mecca, thanks for having me on again.
Excellent, excellent. All right, we got to dive right into things because we were just talking before we went live, and I have a feeling we're going to bring a ton of value. We've double and triple checked the sound quality. I'm gonna double check my mic and just make sure that's fully on. We're recording. We are going to do our absolute best to make sure we're bringing you the high quality goods. So awesome. Where anything you want? You know what? Let's start off with a bang. You just started a brand new pen name, a brand new niche, and tell me about it.
So yeah, I've started a new pen name, and my first priority is always audience building. You have to build your mailing list up as big and as fast as you can. And so I started building this mailing list about 2 weeks ago, and I have 5,000 subscribers already.
Okay, so brand new from zero. 5,000 subscribers in 2 weeks?
Yes. Yep, it's amazing. The opportunities now to build an audience.
That's massive. Like that's okay. I know you probably can't give away all your goods, but you got to let us know what are some of the things you're doing. How is that possible? Like where do you go?
Okay, sure. So number one priority, have a super high quality book for your lead magnet. And I think this is a thing, I'm sure with nonfiction too, that sometimes people overlook, or they're like, oh, I'll just do something up quick and not put much time and effort into what they're going to be offering for free as an opt-in incentive for subscribers to your mailing list. And you want this to be something that's representative of your brand. So it needs to be super high quality. And it needs to draw people in, so they're going to want to follow you, and they're going to open those emails after that you're sending it to them. So really high quality lead magnet, number one priority. A killer cover. It has to be a really, really attractive cover, really professional, just in general, of course.
Right. Yeah.
You need to have good covers, but your lead magnet is no different. It has to be just like top-notch quality.
So, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay, so yeah, number one, have that foundation. That foundation of quality that's your priority. And then as far as reaching people quickly, in the fiction world, there are enormous opportunities now with platforms like InstaFreebie, which is a really cool platform where you can have your lead magnet on the platform and then connect with other authors and join these giveaways where there's a lot of authors that are all promoting each other's books, and it's a really cool platform. Yeah, so that's where a lot of growth can happen very, very quickly.
And are they all kind of related to the same type of genre or niche? Or
yes.
It is.
And it's for fiction.
Right.
There might be some nonfiction on there, but I'm in the fiction world, so it's what I've been focusing on.
Yeah.
Romance. Lots on there for romance and some other fiction niches as well.
Okay, I just want to backtrack. When you're talking about quality, let's spend a little bit of time on that. A quality lead magnet, quality cover. Are you saying that really your lead magnet should, like, how much would you invest in your lead magnet?
I would invest as much as I do in an ebook.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, okay, because that's you know, hey, I'll be honest, I've used some PLR products before that I paid $4, and one of them actually did surprisingly well for, even though it was very outdated when I purchased it. But okay, but I've never actually paid for a proper cover for the lead magnet. So that
really? For your lead magnet, you haven't got a real cover?
No, what I've typically done is I give away some of the books that I'm selling already on Amazon. I'll just give away, you know, whether it's the worst selling book or whatever, I'll just use one of those as the lead magnet. But so I've never really had to make an additional product. But I kind of like what you're saying on that, because I would assume that having a higher quality cover would increase your conversions more than the actual magnet itself, right? Like,
Yes, definitely. You need people to be giving you their email addresses. So you need that initial draw. So that needs to be an attractive cover and well-written description for the lead magnet.
Yeah.
And then once people are in, you don't want them to be like, hey, this is crap. Then they won't open any of your emails. They're not going to be your follower.
It's quality all around.
Yeah, and I'm in romance. It's really competitive, and so you need to go for high quality and bring the readers in and engage with them. And it's amazing. Like the lead magnet that I put up, the first email that I sent out to, like the follow-up email after people subscribe, I asked them like, hey, let me know what you think. And I've been getting so many emails back from readers being like, I loved it, and they were like talking about dynamics,
really,
about the characters, and actually replying saying they love it. So that's a really great thing, because those are people, and you can bet I reply back to those people. Like,
totally.
I'm engaging with them, and I'm developing a relationship because I know how valuable that is.
Yeah.
In the long run.
That's awesome. Do you do anything when you send them that first email? Do you have anything in there that says, hey, reply back? I always like to ask a couple quick questions in that first initial email and say, hey, reply back, want to hear from you. And like in capital letters, I'm like, actually reply. I want to hear from you.
Definitely. Yeah, you want to engage with your subscribers and really humanize the experience.
Right.
And make them feel like they're your friend, essentially.
What about your opt-in page? Is that, I know when I went from MailChimp and then I switched over to Aweber, I saw an increase in conversions. And then I started using my ClickFunnels opt-in, and even better conversions.
Yeah.
What do you use, or do you have any thoughts on how you want to make your opt-in page look? And second point is, like, what about the actual page in the book that you're using as well? Can you just touch on those two things?
Sure. So I think images are really important, and I know, like in MailChimp and Aweber, you can use one of their kind of opt-in pages that they have programmed into the that don't cost anything. You can do that, and you can have a cover and image on there. So at least definitely have an image. But I also use ClickFunnels now.
Okay.
And my landing page it's awesome. It's like, it looks really, really good. So I put a lot of time in it. It looks super professional. And the way I approach it now is I don't want to cut any corners, and I want to position myself as a high-level author in my niche, and for nonfiction to be positioning yourself as an authority in that niche. And so think about the perceptions that readers are going to have when they see your landing page or when they see the cover of your lead magnet. And you want to be very deliberate and intentional about positioning yourself as that authority.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, do whatever you can to stand out. So I guess when people are looking at other competitors' books or anything, they can see the difference between yours and theirs, and they're like, but this person it's like Mickey Mouse compared to like the Terminator, right? Like, it's night and day difference.
Yeah, and like on Amazon on the product page too, like you said, stand out. And I think there's a fine balance between standing out and also still being mindful that you're giving the reader what they want, right?
Right.
So in the description, like anyone that's been in ebook publishing for a while will notice that a lot of nonfiction descriptions look exactly the same.
Oh my gosh, right?
Kind of have the cookie cutter sort of template.
Jeez.
And I would avoid the cookie cutter if I were you.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell people all the time when they come up with questions on various things. How should I do my description? How should I do this and that and covers? Look at the bestsellers in your niche, the number one, top 10 bestsellers. Look at what they do, and use that as a guide. I mean, obviously don't copy it, but use it as a guide. Like, look at like, what are they addressing in the first part of their description? Like, what question are they answering? What problem are they addressing? And kind of look at it that way. So kind of like taking a step back and observing the basic structure of what they do, and then use that as your own template.
Yeah, that's so key. That's what I've been doing with a lot of my books, and it makes the description is It's such an overlooked part that a lot of publishers, they do that, the cookie cutter thing, and they wonder why they never really gain any serious traction. It's because the description is stopping people from, you might have a great cover, great title, but your description is not compelling, and especially with fiction, because that's reading the back of the book essentially, right?
Definitely, fiction. It's so key. Like the description needs to engage the reader from the headline, and it needs to keep the reader reading throughout the whole description.
That's something.
Yeah, there's definitely an art to it.
That's something I haven't thought about before. Keep the reader reading, like asking questions or whatever. Yeah, that's
another thing, which is like applies to fiction and nonfiction when it comes to descriptions, is getting into the emotional level of the reader.
Yeah,
that's good. So you're getting into using feeling words, rather than just kind of keeping it on like, you will learn X, Y, Z. Start to use words where you're getting into, like tapping into how they feel.
Yeah, okay.
And what kind of outcome they are going to have from reading the book.
That's good. You know, what I love about doing these interviews, you know, as much as they are for my followers and subscribers and everyone, they're for me, right? Like I got my journal here taking notes, and I'm sitting down with you because I want to learn how I can better my business, even though, you know, I'm not naive enough to look at it as like, oh, you're fiction, what can you teach me? You can teach me a ton. Right? You can still teach me, right? So I love that. All right, that's really cool. Now, okay, let's go back to the 5,000 subs in 2 weeks. We were talking about how I just started using Facebook ads to start building my list. So it's the Insta freebies that you said is one source. Is there anything else that some people might overlook that works pretty well that they could use to help build their initial email list?
Of course, having an opt-in link within your book is key. And
the front or the front or the end, or does it matter?
Both.
Both. Okay.
I think both is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Have it in the front and the back, and then when you're putting your book on free promo and you're reaching a ton of people, that's a really good opportunity to get people to opt into your list. But yeah, having the link in your book, like you said, if you're doing Facebook ads, yeah, you can get. I know we were discussing your cost per conversion. You can get your cost per lead down quite low with Facebook ads, and you look at the lifetime value of an engaged lead, and it's way more than 75 cents, $1, or whatever you're paying for your leads. So so that's great. And with fiction, doing Insta freebie is awesome. And another thing that works really well is doing just networking with other authors and promoting each other's stuff. So, connecting with someone else who has a newsletter and asking them, hey, can you send my my opt-in page to your list, or and do the same for them. So doing that kind of a thing and connecting with people. So that's why having a network of people online is absolutely key.
Okay, now I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Okay. And maybe you guys play a little nicer over in fiction. But in nonfiction, it's full of sharks and shark hunters, and then people who are trying to burn the boats of the shark hunters to take the sharks. Like, it's brutal. So, is it different in
fiction? It's like, romance. Everybody wants more romance books. So, it works out really well.
That's interesting.
Everyone's helpful with each other. It's a great place to be.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And yeah. Imagine nonfiction is different.
Right.
You have some serious competition. You need to get in a better keyword ranking position. You want to dominate.
Right. But then there's how many millions and millions of people on Amazon? Like Amazon, they sell 1.6 million ebooks every day.
Oh my God.
1.6 million ebooks every single day. And that stat was 2016, January 2016. So I'm sure it's gone up. So there's a lot of people on Amazon buying books. I don't see why nonfiction authors, publishers can't share, right? Like if you're in the dog training niche and somebody else is in the dog training niche, why not cross promote? You know, like collaborate and because I've seen that a lot in some of the Facebook fiction groups that they're like, hey, I got a list of 5,000 people in this, you know, in werewolf shape shift and billionaire playboy, you know, and you know, hey, does anyone want to, you know, whatever you guys cross promote, right? Thank you, cross promote. But I've never seen that with fiction. So could that be something that could change? I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna start looking into that.
Really kind of like contemplate that one. And I think the only reason to be scared of doing something like that is if you don't have a strong brand, and
Bingo.
strong authority,
Totally.
and a strong relationship with your niche. Because as soon as you're established with a strong brand and following, and you're giving a lot of value and a lot of content to people, then you have nothing to worry about.
You're absolutely right, and I know a lot of publishers. They do some kids books and like that. That'd be a great market to be cross promoting. But really, even anything, I think you could. Like if you're doing a book on gardening, you find another publisher who's doing stuff on gardening. But of course, everyone's so secretive about their niches this day and age. But
yeah, for sure.
I think that would be
a thing too. I guess in romance, people are still a little bit secretive about niches. If they find something that's really trending, like new and up and coming, and like I never expect my students to share their niches or their pen names with each other.
Right.
I don't share with people generally either. Like it's just one of those kind of unwritten things. And sometimes I get people emailing me being like, "Oh, can you tell me what your not even my clients, just strangers, not strangers, but people who found me on the internet." Like, can I see your books, or you know, I know your pen names? I'm like, my family doesn't even. So no,
you can't get the key to my business. Okay. You know, that's something. You know, we were talking about before we started that I want to eliminate review swaps in 2018. That's one of my missions. Amen to that, right? I'm cross promotion in nonfiction is something I'm gonna look at because
explore that. I think that'd be really interesting to see, and showing that you're like fearless in doing something like that.
Totally.
I think it's bold.
And especially once you have an authority, because you know, we were talking. I really even started to build more of an authority with one particular niche, and it'll be to the point where you know, new people could come in, but they ain't gonna outrank me. Like there's just once you've built that authority. So that's I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Let me bring up some questions that I had some of my students ask you, and let me see. All right. So my question would be, this is from Erica. My question would be, what percentage of your fiction books do you write? Outline 50% of the book, or do you like the entire novel? So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, sure. I outsource 100% of all the writing. I don't do any of it.
Okay.
So what I do is I do niche research. I consider that a really high-level task in the business, is being able to look and assess and kind of dissect bestseller lists and see what are the actual trending themes, because you have to go a little deeper level than just kind of like looking at the covers and titles. So I figure out the themes and niches for the books, and then I have writers who do outlines, plot outlines, and write the whole books. So.
All right. So that's cool.
And that's what I teach as well. Is I have some students who are writers and write their own books, but the majority are outsourcing like me.
And you don't worry about what the book's going to be, like the plot or anything. That's all done out. Like your writers handle all that.
Yeah, I give the themes, and if I have kind of like a little idea for a plot, I never really do.
But no, because then you'd probably be writing it yourself if you had a right.
For sure, I will like know the niches or the themes that I want to include.
Yep.
I may have an idea about some character traits or something. But then I give them to a really good writer who makes the plot outline for me.
That's awesome. That's cool. All right, let me see what the next question is. All right. Okay. I might butcher her name. Anita says she's a newbie. She's interested in fiction. I'd like to know, what's the best place to find ghostwriters? How much do you pay them? What's the ideal book length? And which countries do you select ghostwriters from?
Okay. So I have hired all my writers from Upwork. So I find good writers there. I have pretty good process to find writers. And as far as book lengths go, in romance, I recommend doing nothing shorter than a novella length anymore. So that'd be 20K words plus.
Okay.
And honestly, it's starting to get the longer the better.
Right.
So readers are preferring longer stories, and they want to be engaged. And oftentimes, even at 20,000 words, some publishers are getting reviews saying, "Oh, great story, but it's too short." So going a little more for length. When I started out, I was doing short stories in romance, but I mean that was a few years ago. Things change, right? So
right.
It's kind of shifted towards longer stories now. As far as how much I pay a writer, you get what you pay for.
Okay.
I never go lower than $1.50 a word now, and that's the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum.
$1.50 a word. You'll definitely need to hire an editor on top of that. Even when I pay more now, I still get an editor to go through the stories. There just is no room for poor quality anymore.
Right.
So,
it's just better to take the extra time to go through it and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are great affordable editors out there, which is wonderful. Some of my students, they prefer to edit themselves, and that's fine if you want to spend your time doing that. I used to do that a couple of years ago, but now I outsource it all.
Yeah.
And I think there was another part of that question, wasn't there?
Yeah, let me just bring it up here. I think which countries do you select your writers from?
Native English speaking only.
Okay.
So I guess it doesn't matter on the country. There could be a native English speaker in any country.
Right.
But that is definitely the criteria. They must be native English speaking.
Now, what about American English, UK English? Because my first book, I outsourced. I used a company, and I don't like the book. But it was definitely written not in American English. It was written in the old school, I guess,
Like
British English. So I was reading it, I'm like, oh, this is horrible. But it was.
I specify to my writers it has to be American English.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what, and look at, the thing is, that's not the same for all niches. Like, for instance, in romance, there's like Victorian romance and historical.
Oh.
You know?
So completely different language or English.
Where British English can fly, like that could be. There's actually a really specific tone to the writing too. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be written back in
right.
the 19th century. So anyhow, but in general, yes, it's American English.
Oh.
Good question.
No, that is. Okay, let's talk about. Okay, I've had ideas for short stories and things like that. If what would it take for somebody brand new to get into fiction publishing?
It is so accessible now. Like, you can go and find a writer on Upwork, have a lead magnet story written, and you can start to build an audience. Like, that is the first step. Is starting to build your audience.
2 books
build
essentially.
Your audience huge.
Your book you want to sell. Then the book you're going to use to capture your leads.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And actually, like, I would say your priority should be your lead magnet book.
Yeah.
If you're going to have one book created at the beginning, it should be the book that you're going to be drawing your readers in with.
That's such a good philosophy. And I don't think a lot of people are promoting that. That really your emphasis should be on what are you using to capture your leads first. Get that set up first. Okay, then let's put it together, the book that you want to sell and promote and all of that. I think that's.
Because imagine it, then like down the line when it does come time to sell your book, you have an audience that you've been engaging with, and Yeah.
Right, because even if you have that book, you can just start, like you said, start giving away for free in the different Insta freebies and things like that, while your other book's getting written. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you build your audience before you've actually made any sales.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
I'm
different.
giving away a lot right now.
You get the goods here. That's Karla, my mind's getting blown here. I was like, wait, that's interesting. So now I'm trying to think, okay, how does this relate to the fiction realm or the nonfiction realm, right? Like, so how do I build up that audience? Okay, obviously it would take a lot more research and a lot more trying to figure that out. Maybe, well, now everyone watching, you got some work to do. If you're in nonfiction, how do you build your audience up before you actually have a product to sell, right? So that's super interesting. That's super interesting. Let's okay, so now the book's selling, the email list is going. What are some easy things to do, but they're also easy not to do, to engage with your readers? Because in nonfiction, I teach you don't just send an email when you have a new book. People just are going to unsubscribe and ignore you. You have to build value. But what's building value with your fiction readers? What does that actually look like?
You look at what do they want. And the thing is, you can directly ask your list what do they want. You can survey people
Yeah.
and see what do they want out of a list. And like you said, you need to be in touch more than just when you have a new release. So every week, be sending something out of value. I mean, you know the kind of books they're into, so send them some recommendations. Once you're starting to plan out your next book, and maybe you know the main character name, or just like give them little bits of information and go for engagement. So, like you said, be sure you're asking some questions in your emails. Just encouraging people to interact with you.
Okay, that's key. And do you use the free promotions and stuff with Amazon or countdown deals or anything like that? Do you use those marketing services?
Yeah. Use free promos. Not all the time, but sometimes.
But sometimes. What about, do you run any ads or anything to your books at all? Through like AMS? You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all the time either. Sometimes.
No.
There's definitely like not a black and white, like cookie cutter process, I would say. Like
Right.
There's definitely a blueprint, and there's a lot of things that work, but sometimes you will do some things and sometimes you won't, or you'll start to do ads at a certain point, or you'll stop ads at a certain point. So it's not like I'm running them all the time.
Right. I guess we can start wrapping up here, but any things that you're going to be looking forward to preparing for the fourth quarter? Because it's Christmas coming up, holiday coming up.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking at selling a ton of books.
Definitely. This is I don't know, for newer publishers, like Q4 is
like, this is the time to get in,
so
right?
busy.
Like,
it's like you start to sell a lot more books in the next couple months. So, like I said, I'm launching a new pending, which is exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, just focusing on that. Just continuing to put out good quality books. And one thing I'm looking at in all aspects of my business life, especially including publishing, is trying to simplify as much as I can and look at like what can I be doing that has the biggest impact. So look at what you're doing that has the biggest impact and focus more on that, and try to cut away all the extraneous things that aren't having as much of an impact. Just cutting away the clutter, because I think all of us are in this because we want freedom.
Yeah.
But if you catch yourself, which I have caught myself doing, and you may have, and your viewers may have, you catch yourself like all of a sudden it's like, oh, but I'm doing like 13-hour, 14-hour days, so much freedom, right? So look at like, okay, what can you delegate to somebody else? What can you outsource? What can you cut away entirely because it's like not working, and take that time and energy and focus it on that thing that's working and blow it up and expand it, right?
Well, hey, Karla, thank you so much for taking some time and swinging by here. I know registration for your course has closed, but when's it going to open again? Since this is like, if there's a time to get into publishing, quarter 4 is. So what can people do to get more information for your course?
Well, join my free Facebook community group. That's where I kind of keep everyone updated, and it's a great group. Lots of cool questions, lots of helpful input from people there. So that is a good group to be in, where you can hear about whatever I'm offering that's upcoming.
Sweet.
And also, if you'd like, you can join my list as well.
We'll put links down.
Yeah, you put the link down below. But honestly, I think the Facebook group is the best place to be because it's kind of more engaging.
Yeah, there's a community right there. So
yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
Sure. So that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Emeka.
Excellent, Karla. Thanks so much for joining us again. Talk to you soon.